So here's what's going on right now. Many people are asking, why should the American people be worried about a conflict that's going on in Russia and Ukraine? I want to address the war on Americans that could be coming. We also have new updates that the U.S. is sanctioning Vladimir Putin, and I'm going to give you a full update on what's really happening right now, because the European Union has sanctioned top Russian leadership. And in order to step up sanctions, the United States did the exact same thing. And they confirmed that they will directly sanction Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Now, this move will essentially freeze all assets of both individuals. This will be crucial. Even the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he told NATO leaders today, during a call today, that Britain would move to impose sanctions against Putin and Lavrov as well. Now, why is this so important? Think about it. If you are trying to do anything in this world and you don't have money to pay for it, you freeze all assets. It's very difficult to do the big things. You can borrow, you can trade, you can do different things like that. But when it comes to making big moves, taking over another country, you need some money, you need assets, you need something. And that will be frozen. Now, we don't know how impactful an asset freeze will be at this point. But according to White House officials, it's not meant to stop Putin and his army. The goal here is to limit their ability and disrupt their lives. Now, in addition to that, they say this will be seen more as a warning of what could potentially come if the attacks on Ukraine continue. So it's pretty much the same thing that we've been seeing over the past few days from President Biden, is that right now it's not about stopping Russia from invading Ukraine. It's about slowing them down. But why? Here's the reason why. The NATO Secretary General said today, and I quote, "We are deploying elements of the NATO response force on land, at sea, and in the air to further strengthen our posture and respond quickly to any contingency. Currently, countries bordering Ukraine are extremely concerned." And he goes on to say, this goes far beyond Ukraine. This is about how Russia is actually challenging, contesting core values of our security. Now, that's the issue. The real issue right now is that originally Russia was just supposed to challenge the eastern flank of Ukraine. Then the invasion went into major cities as far east into Ukraine as Lviv and even Kiev. And I got a lot of questions on this. Is Kyiv the same as Kiev? And the answer is yes. Okay, before I get into the rest of this update, I just want to inform you guys that Kyiv is technically the Ukrainian pronunciation of the city, of the capital city. Kiev is the Russian pronunciation. Okay, so it's the same thing, both same cities. I know I use them interchangeably. I don't know why, I just do. And now, NATO is worrying that Russia might not stop until they are forced to stop. Here's the problem. And this is why NATO is putting troops on the eastern flank of the countries. Okay, far east in Ukraine. They're putting troops there because they are worried that Russian troops are attempting to take over Kyiv. And the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, he's telling the European Union that this could be the last time they see him alive. Well, that's critical. When the president's saying that, hey, this might be the last time you see me alive, that's not very positive news. Now, what does this mean here for us in the United States? And what's the war on Americans? Well, here's what we know. The main worry right now is that Russia, they could turn towards cyber attacks to countries that impose sanctions. They've already said, don't do anything to stop us. Don't try to stop us, or else it will be painful and they will come back strong. Currently, we've actually imposed many different sanctions. We've got many other countries and other NATO allies to impose sanctions as well. Most of which has done very little because Russia keeps going further and further into Ukraine. The problem here, Russia has stated they don't want to take over, they don't want to go into neighborhoods. They don't want to do anything like that, but then we see pictures that neighborhoods were bombed. They were shot up. Fires were started. Okay. Well, then Ukraine is trying to put certain military equipment in neighborhoods. Well, what we know from Russia is they're going to take down any military equipment, any military personnel that is standing in their way. Well, if you put that in a neighborhood, guess what? Russia comes in and targets that area, which would ultimately impact the neighborhood. Now, the potential target for us here in the U.S., and this is the big worry, is currently the potential targets include electrical grids, banking systems, and mobile networks. Here's the reason why this is so important. I've been saying this for the past couple of days. Make sure you have cash on hand in the event that your banking institution is locked out of their system and can't provide any cash to you. And I know what you're thinking, well, if the bank's locked out, I'll just go to the store and use my debit card and my credit card. And I'm with you. That's probably what I do as well. Here's the issue. This would actually limit the ability to buy products using debit and credit. Most transactions would be blocked. They would be down. That would really impact our economy. People couldn't buy stuff that they need. And unless you know the owner of the store, which chances are you're not going to go to Walmart and they're going to give you an IOU, right? That's not going to happen. So be prepared for something like this. But understand that an attack wouldn't be permanent. It would most likely be a very temporary thing. It would last probably 2 to 3 days at most. No, pretty much we would get it back online as quickly as possible. But experts say to carry around between $100 and $200 at all times. Now, here's what I want to say. The U.S. is not done sanctioning Russia. There's still other things that we can do. However, the issue right now is how far do we have to go? Do we have to resort to cyber attacks to block Russia, to stop Russian troops? It's possible. But at the same time, how far do we go without impacting Russians in general who aren't for this invasion, who are against it, who are anti-war, anti-invasion? How do we do that? And that's the issue. There may not be a way, and again, it would look bad on the U.S. if we go and do a complete cyber attack against all of Russia when all of Russia isn't the ones that are trying to invade Ukraine. That's the issue, is where do we draw the line and make it so that we are trying to prevent this invasion, but at the same time without disrupting everything else. And there may not be a way. So right now, according to multiple experts, a war on Americans is possible. It's probably not going to be a guns blazing, bombs dropping type of war, but it would be more of a cyber attack. That's what they're predicting. So I just wanted to leave you with that. I know that's not the greatest news, but it's extremely important what's happening across the world, because what we here in the United States are going to go through, it's not going to be the same thing, not even going to be close, but it will disrupt our lives, according to many experts and many White House officials. So that's the Russia and Ukraine crisis as we know it right now. As I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.